Assisted living one-on-one with the care girl, okay? Because I am tired of people calling me in the middle of the night, early in the morning. I need to get my mom out of that place. I don't know what they're doing. They are not working for me, etc., etc., etc. I don't want to hear it no more. Watch this video on how to choose the proper assisted living, memory care, personal care home for mom or dad, okay? So here we go. So the first thing that I would do and I would look for in a assisted living is I first of all, you need to know the type of place you need. Okay, so if grandma has memory issues, she's not going to go to a regular assisted living. She's going to go to a memory care, right? So you also have to know the budget for that. So a memory care may be about $2,500 to $3,000 more than a regular assisted living a month, right? So be ready for that. Be prepared for that. Okay, so you don't want to go to a regular place and your mom has memory issues and they don't have a feature to where all the doors are locked and it's a monitored facility for memory care, right? They do certain type of activities. They do different activities for people who have memory issues. So you want to make sure that you are choosing the right place contingent upon the care that your loved one needs, right? So it's not a one size fit all type situation. So you really need to know the details or get with a professional like myself or someone else who basically can tell you, okay, this is the type of place that you will need for mom or dad. Okay. So number two, how long has the management been in place? So when you walk into a visit to visit a assisted living, you do need to know how long that place has been. A manager has been in place, such as the executive director, such as the nurse there, right? Because something about some of these communities that have high turnover in management means that the organization is bad, or they're constantly going through sales of the facility, and there's no consistency there. But if, let's say your activity director, your nurse, your executive director have been there for 14, 15, 20 years, right? So that tells me that there's a consistency in care and that, they like it there. So you want to make sure that the staff there is not just brand new. And if they're brand new, why are they brand new? How long have you been the director? How long was the previous director here before you? Right? Because sometimes people do age out or they retire, and then there's someone new there that is good at the job they do. But you want to make sure that it's not a turnover every 6 months, every year on the management staff, because there will be no fluidity in the care. And it probably is an in and out situation for residents as well. So you want to make sure that you're placing your parent or loved one, and it's a one time thing. You're not having to transition them out because they every time you go there's somebody different at the front counter. Okay, so visit different times of the day. Number three, why is that? So let's talk about staff ratios, right? So as we know, there's a big thing going on right now where there is a lot of healthcare staff stepping down. People are not coming back to the field after COVID because they were overworked and underpaid. 1,000%. So why would I go to a memory care or an assisted living or a personal care home at different times of the day? Is because I want to see who's the staff, how many people to every floor, or if it's a one building situation, like how many people are giving that one caregiver? Is it two or three caregivers there? What are their names? Right, talk to them and say, oh, I may be bringing my mom here. See how their attitude is, right? Because a person, the executive director or whoever is doing a tour, the marketer, they can make things look pretty. They can say, hey, we have a tour today, y'all act good, be on your best behavior, right? Don't be acting a fool. But if you're going at different times and doing different shifts, right? And this is something that you have to ask to do. You can't just walk into place, right? But they want your money every month. So you can't ask for different things, right? You don't have to go off the schedule of whoever's gonna be there. Just pro tip. So you want to see who's there in the morning. You want to see how many people are there in the evening, and then overnight, right? Because they do have tend to have less staff overnight. But will your parent be dry, right? Will they be able to have assistance in the middle of the night, or is that person overwhelmed because there's so many call lights on, and that your parents not going to be get seen to the morning time, and their bed is soaking wet, right? So it's certain things that's why I would visit at different times. You don't have to do this all in one day, but I would sporadically do it throughout the week or within 2 weeks, because you don't want to be in a rush when you're placing somebody in an assisted living or a situation outside of the home, right? My first choice is always the in-home care, but in the event that they need memory care or an assisted living for total care, or hey, I just can't do the care myself, and they have money for a facility, then you can do the assisted living option, right? So another thing is you want to attend an activity or an event, because they may have this big calendar on the wall, right? But do they do those activities? Because a lot of times people have stuff up where they don't do the activities that they say they do, right? Okay, y'all having a fish fry Friday, can I come? Right? See who's there, who's throwing that event. Is it a hospice company? What's the name of the hospice company? Look at the hospice company, look at their reviews, look at the reviews for the facility, right? You want to make sure everybody who is going to be touching your parent. Who is the on-call nurse, how often is she there, right? That goes into my next number 5, clinical oversight, the process, organization. When is the nurse on duty, right? Because we know they're not required 24 hours, but when are they on duty? And when will they see my mom, and how will I get a report back to what's happening and what's going on? Because you want to always have a running timeline on what is going on weekly, with your loved one that's there in that facility, because in the event that something happens and you don't know, and it's all of a sudden, hey, this happened, they was in physical therapy, or they had to go get an MRI because they fell, or whatever, you're not being notified. So you want to make sure that what is the process like, in the event of emergency, what happens. Am I called first? Is the ambulance called after that? Will they go to the hospital that I want them to go to, or are they going to the hospital nearby? So you just want to make sure that you have a detail on how you want things to be handled in the event of an emergency, especially if you are out of state and that parent is staying close to other family in town, or things of that nature. So you want to make sure the process of emergencies, the process of when my parent needs to be seen by a doctor. Is there does the doctor come to the facility? Will they be put on hospice? Things of that nature, because you don't want to be bombarded or bamboozled, right? And that happens a lot. I see it a whole lot, right? So always ask about this. Number 6, ask for a reference from current families. Now, this is a pro tip. Now, this is the pro tip. A lot of times we're not asking for references. We're just looking at reviews, and how current are those reviews, and how real are those reviews, right? Some people want to they fudge a little bit. You can get a company to give you good reviews, right? So you need to see the age of those reviews. If there was a bad review left, what was the comment? If they commented, because if they don't have anybody even going over the reputation of the reviews, that tells you right there they don't really care about what people say online. You want somebody actively, correcting the situation that went bad. Okay, so because it not no one facility is perfect, right? So you want to ask for you can ask for this. Hey, I would love to sit down and have coffee with one of the residents that currently just moved in, or can I have a referral to talk to, right? And you tell them, be transparent with me, what have you liked and what haven't you liked, because some people may tell you, I'm looking for another place, right? Even when you go to that activity, you may see some family members there with their family member having an activity with them, and you can actually say, hey, I'm thinking about moving, my mom or dad in here. How are you liking the care? How are you liking, the situation and what's going on here? What are the pros and cons? And you will get your answer right there on if you should be bringing your mom or dad there, right? You just don't want to go in blindly. Don't go in rushing and thinking that, oh, they're gonna do right by me. No, you have to do your research. have about three on your list. Have your top three facilities that you may like. Even if you're on a budget, you if there's somebody that's going to take what you are providing to them, the money, the Medicaid, however it is. Still have about a few options, and don't be in such a rush. Okay, your mom or dad may be discharging from the hospital, and they may need this total care and all that, but still take your time, or get with somebody like me. I actually help families through care transitions all over the world, right? If you need to fly me to you, I can do that. I can actually help you go on the tours. I can go on the tours for you. Or I can use my vetted list of assisted livings that I have, in No Love and Trust, right? Okay, that's updated all the time. So, get with me, link in the bio. If you need if you need a day with the care girl, I am offering a day with the care girl where we map out a plan for from A to Z for your parent. Either it's them transitioning to full-time care at home, transitioning onto hospice, transitioning to care you caring for them, right? If you need some caregiver training yourself, or if you need help with them going into a facility that is safe for them, then you definitely should talk to me, okay? All right. And if you do need care in Georgia, get with me, thecaregirl.com. We do provide skilled and non-skilled nursing for those who may need it. And, I just I'll be bringing out more videos like this. I hope this helps somebody. Have a great day.